Hi, I'm Alice Reeves and I am the founder of BelongCon, and I am here today in my living room having a conversation with Simon Batchelar, who is the founder of Proud Business, which is an LGBTQ network for business owners in the UK. So Simon, welcome. Thank you for joining the Belong conversation.
Hello.
I'd love to hear about more about Proud Business and where the idea came from.
So the idea was started with myself and Adam Bastock, and we both met through a co-working space, Platform 9 in Brighton, and got talking and just thought, oh no, let's just go for a pint in the pub. So we went for a pint and just got talking a bit more, and it all initially just started about business because we both work in sort of digital marketing spheres. So we were both just, chatting shop. And then after a few pints, that conversation quickly morphed into a bit more of like who we were and what was really going on with us. And we sort of discovered, I guess, actually that we were both in the LGBTQ community. Me very recently at the time of that conversation, and Adam for a very long time. But neither of us had identified that in either us or our businesses before we'd had that conversation. So what we started talking about then was the fact of, well, why was that? Why was that part of our identity not coming across maybe in the way, not maybe how we presented ourselves, because I think that's got a bit of a different meaning, but like in terms of our business identity, our professional identity, that wasn't necessarily very, very visible, and we just started to ask some sort of bigger questions around that as to the reasons why that was occurring, really.
Mm-hmm. And it blows my mind that, like, both of us are based in Brighton, which is the LGBT capital of the UK, and when you went to start this business community, there was no network that you could find for LGBT business owners. So were you surprised when you realized that? Like, what was that like moment of like, what?
Well, we suddenly thought, hang on, to use the phrase, we can't be the only two gay people in Brighton who are professionals. And we thought there must be other people out there. I know, we'll just go to the LGBTQ networking event that must be happening like weekly in a pub. We just haven't heard about it yet. And of course we Googled it and looked in Eventbrite, nothing. Like even just looking for LGBTQ networking on Eventbrite, nothing. It's like, why is this not happening? So there's lots of stuff on Meetup all about, finding friends and building a community and all of this stuff, but it's all very personal led. And we get that is a very necessary world of good work and strengthening a community. And we got, a lot of time for that, brilliant work. But we just thought there's got to be a load of business owners out there who just want to get together and, just have this in common. And we didn't want to necessarily come across as being some kind of activist group or being like, right, we're going to change the world of business. We just thought, wouldn't it be nice to go to the pub with a load of other people who have this in common, who would like to just talk about it without necessarily having to sort of maybe not feel like they've got to skirt around the issue or be like, oh, feel a bit nervous about, I wonder what someone's views on kind of like trans people are, or I wonder if they have some maybe rather interesting religious views that mean they don't particularly agree with this. And maybe at networking we felt that people might be sort of adapting who they are or what they are in order to avoid confrontation perhaps. And we thought, well, the only way we're ever going to find out is to set up this event, invite some people along and see if they turn up. So that's what we did, and people turned up, so it was really good.
And what kind of conversations, because I've been to a couple of events and they were really great, but I'm interested to kind of hear from you, what kind of conversations were coming up that maybe surprised you when you were having those initial meetups?
Well, when we initially had the first one, me and Adam wanted to get together some people who thought that they weren't able to maybe promote their LGBTQ identity in the business world because they were afraid maybe that may have a negative perception on their business. And actually, everybody who turned up was really proud of who they were and were using their identity as a huge plus. And we were just so surprised. It just caught us, I guess, off guard. We'd been thinking, oh, there must be, the reason this doesn't exist is because everybody's scared of it. Yeah. But actually, it was genuinely just that no one had gone onto Eventbrite and done it. It was the opposite of what we'd found. So I guess the reality or our reality for the people we've met so far is that everybody's had a fairly positive experience. And people have really wanted to talk about the positives rather than the negatives. And I feel that's a really positive space to be in, where obviously we've all got time for those negative stories to learn from. And we're not saying we don't want those stories, obviously, but it's that thing of just saying to people, well, tell me about you and what do you do? And actually the businesses that have come along are very varied, and lots of different stories of where people have been on their, not only just on their maybe LGBTQ journey, but also their business journey, and actually generally how for some people they're quite closely linked.
And what's been the impact on you of kind of like, how did it feel to like start this community and have people turn up and have people respond? And like, I know there's a really active WhatsApp group as well where people share questions and issues that arise. So like, how has that been for you, from kind of going from this space of like, we're just going to put this out there and like, I don't know who's going to turn up, to have created this really lovely space for people to come and engage with like-minded people?
Yeah, it was very rewarding just on a personal level. It felt great. There's nothing better than putting something out to the world and having someone walk past and give you a thumbs up. It's that kind of like, yeah, actually, yeah, we were right in that sense of people do want this. So in that sense, it was a really good feeling. It just makes you feel like you're part of something, and there's other people out there who also think the same as you. They're kind of like, actually, yeah, you're right, we should all get together and talk about this stuff and help each other where we can, because it is. And as I say, we're not trying to, at the moment at least, we're not sort of a big trying to change anything or kind of be activists against something or change this or change that. It's very much a support and positive stories type network. So I guess it was positive that people wanted that as well, because there's a lot of other things out there, as I've said, meetups about activism and community and causes. So we wanted to just be, I guess, that professional network that me and Adam were very familiar with, because everybody in the business world knows about networking events, love them or loathe them, and so we just wanted to fill that gap. So when people turned up, it was really fun. It was great to be there. And yeah, I suppose it was quite daunting walking into a pub for the first time and putting a pride flag on the bar and going, yeah, we'll be over there if anybody comes in, and just thinking no one's going to show up, no one's, surely not. But yeah, it was a good feeling.
Yeah. I mean, it's been like that with BelongCon as well. Like, from going from an idea of like, I just want to create a space for people to share these kinds of stories of like communities they found and they formed, and who have found a sense of belonging by embracing who they are and hearing other stories and sharing their stories. And just I completely get what you mean about the rewardingness of being like, oh my God, like someone else feels that they need the same space and the same thing as I do. It's just such an amazing feeling. And obviously we're both kind of based in Brighton as well, which is a very, very liberal thinking, quite open-minded, well, very open-minded city. And I know that you've got plans to already to take Proud Business further and into other cities. So, I mean, do you have any kind of reservations about that, or are you just intrigued and excited to see what difference you can make to other cities?
Well, Adam, who I set this up with, he's now moved to Glasgow in the last sort of month or so. So Adam's actually starting this in Glasgow as soon as, we can actually get back and meet up again together, as in like people can meet together. Yeah, so he started up again in Glasgow, and he's already had a really positive response to those events, posting up there. So I think it almost feels like there's a lot of people out there who are in the space that we think they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Is just finding someone to say, actually, yeah, do you know what? I want that space in that place. And I think, we definitely encourage people to, if they want to, get in touch and start up in different places, then of course, because the more the merrier, to be honest. If we can get people together and build this up, it would be really good and really, I think, encouraging for a lot of people. So we did try doing it online, but I'll be honest, it wasn't the same vibe. It just doesn't work, because you need the little naturally occurring, oh, so, turn to this person, turn to that person in the pub, you just chat and it's informal. Whereas on Zoom, it almost felt like we needed an agenda and
Yeah.
like attendee list. And it was all a bit like, oh gosh, this
Yeah.
feels like the opposite of what it should be.
Yeah.
And not being, because obviously if you get any more than about 4 people on Zoom, you can't really have a conversation. You just have to wait for your turn to talk.
Yeah. I've been having that exact same conversation with someone the other day. Like, there's that kind of collaboration and that overlap in conversation that occurs so naturally, which you just can't do on Zoom, because it silences whoever's not talking, and you can't, you're in a group and you can't have those like individual connections and those side conversations, which are such a big part of being in that community. And we did a couple of online BelongCons, and they were fantastic. Like, they were brilliant, and people got loads out of them, and I really enjoyed doing them. But I know exactly what you mean. It's so difficult to translate that sense of real life connection and community into digital.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think it's almost like taking the time out and making the journey to go to the venue, which is a pub in our case, actually works. I think that adds to it. It's that you've had to, step out of where you normally work or live to come somewhere to meet other people. And I think just that different headspace and sitting as a group, there is something about that you just don't get on Zoom. And I think that is what people are missing at the moment, particularly. But I think that's what this group particularly feeds off, is that energy and the smiles as everybody, oh, you're back again, that energy is what really gets people going, I think. So yeah, I can't wait to be able to get back
Oh,
and meet
no,
up with people again.
me neither. I went and sat outside a coffee shop today and like had a coffee with someone.
There you go.
First time since March, and I was like, this is so lovely. I feel like I'm on holiday. Like, it's
amazing.
I'm just never going to take that for granted again.
Yeah,
ever.
exactly.
Like, talking to the barista about like a new restaurant that opened in the city last night was just like, oh my goodness, these little like micro encounters and these little conversations that were just such a part of life. I just hadn't realized how much I'd really missed and craved that connection.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's really odd to think that it's not been there for so long now, and we're so used to like this. We're so used to just talking on Zoom. This time last year, we wouldn't have dreamt of doing this other than sat face to face. So everything's changing, and I guess we need to look at ways that we can try and adapt, but also recognize the fact that actually some things do just have to be in a certain place and time to work as effectively as they have done in the past. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of exciting things to come, but it's just sort of on a mini pause at the moment while we sort of wait for everything to sort of get back into being ready to accept more than 2 households at a time meeting together. So
Absolutely. And then just before we finish up, I'm really kind of curious to know on like obviously there's been an impact on you of setting this community up in terms of reward and bringing people together, which is amazing. But has it impacted you kind of on a personal level? Like, has it changed anything about the way you do business or the conversations you have in business?
I think in a way it's made me more confident to be, it's made me more confident in believing in myself, if that makes any sense. So to know that I have an identity that is, not necessarily the identity that you would perceive from a profile picture or a LinkedIn profile, let's say. And then to know that actually I can confidently stand behind that, and there is a group of other people who also do the same. It feels really good, and it feels like you've got people on your side. And I think particularly in the world of business, which is sometimes I think seen as quite a sort of cutthroat, dog eat dog world, and there definitely is areas where that's still the case. It kind of feels like actually you can be more confident in the conversations you have, and being more authentic, I've found means that I'm starting to attract the kind of people I want to do business with more, because I think they feel that confidence and energy, coming out, and they want to be part of that. But similarly, I think also it's probably pushed away some people who I don't want to do business with. And, that's fine too. That's the best thing about running your own business, is you get to choose.
Yeah. And there's something so empowering in that, like just feeling like you can be yourself and be fully yourself and attract the people that love that. Like, that's integral to belonging. Self-expression, I think, is so integral to that sense of belonging. So that's amazing, and that's such an incredible note to end on. So let people know, so if people are interested in finding out more about Proud Business, or maybe want to start a group in their city, how can they get in touch with you about that?
If you go to proudbusiness.co.uk, then you'll find a website which doesn't have any events on at the moment, but it will do as soon as we're back. There's also a contact form on there you can ping us an email on, or if you connect with me on LinkedIn, that's a really good way. You can just ping me a quick message, or you can connect with Adam if you're up in Glasgow. So we'll put in both of those links so you can get in touch. So just reach out to either me or Adam, and we'd be happy to have a conversation with you and tell you about the events and when they're going to be happening. And we for digital marketing people, we don't actually have a mailing list yet. Mainly just because
digital marketing people, we're the worst at our own.
I know. Marketing. It's embarrassing, really, isn't it? Basically, we've got the WhatsApp group, and the deal is that to get on the WhatsApp group, you have to come to an event. That's the idea. And then once you're in. It's like the inner circle, So yes, but if you follow either me or Adam on LinkedIn, then you'll hear about the next event as soon as it's coming, because we'll be shouting about it loud and proud all over there.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait to see you all again in the pub. That's going to be wonderful.
It's going to be great fun. Likewise, it's going to be good.
Oh, thank you so much, Simon. It's been really great to chat, and thank you so much for joining the conversation.
That's right. Thanks for having me.